Hey, welcome into the Sunday Soother. And today I want to recap on some of the things that have really been revelations for me over the last few weeks. I have been very quiet on here because I have been absolutely ruminating. And what happens to me, I don't know what happens for you, but I seem to go through this perpetual shifting. There's always a growing, a learning, a shifting, a fiddling, a healing, some kind of evolution that is constantly happening. And I think some of us feel and experience that more intensely than others. And my pattern is always a burnout. I just take in loads and loads and loads, and I give out loads and loads and loads, and I'm just in this sort of cycle of it. And then there's a bottleneck, and everything feels like I can't do it. And then I just have to put things down. Things that I can bear to put down, I just have to put down. And then what I always do is resist the very thing that would be the most helpful to me. One of which is to go into the quiet and just be. So sitting in a meditative, just calm, just breathing, just letting my inner dialogue come in, noticing what my brain is doing, giving myself almost processing time to integrate and file, and then let some wisdom, I guess, come through. But I always find myself resisting to do it. I'll be seeking something else out that feels like stimulation instead of going into the quiet. And at some point, I just almost get forced into a corner and it just has to happen. And then everything starts to make a bit more sense. I really feel like something that's been a theme for me, and I'm going to talk about it in case it's of use to anybody else, and that is identity. It's really occurred to me that we spend a lot of our energy worrying about whether we're worthy of the identity that we're trying to encapsulate, the things we're trying to own. It's almost like we get attracted to experiences, and we have been taught in our society that you have to earn a certain level of something before you can own it and claim it as yours. So you say, I am a musician, or I am a doctor, or whatever it might be. There are certain things, obviously, that you need specific qualifications for, and that makes sense. But this sense of needing to prove it by owning it, having earned it, and with some of those things, it's so ambiguous, because if you're an artist, you're somebody who isn't necessarily an artist, but you are somebody who is drawn to art, to create art, and that you enjoy that it's something that sparks you. But society might say, well, you can't call yourself an artist unless you earn money doing it. And you can't really be an artist unless you're selling enough to completely support yourself on it. And the real measure of a successful artist would be that you are, really making plenty of money, which means plenty of people are buying your art, which means plenty of other people outside of you are validating that you are good at art. I just thought, oh my goodness, what an obstacle, what a series of hurdles we place because we have to own that identity and sort of keep it rather than allowing something to flow through us. It just made me think about how I always get snagged on what I call myself. And I've never been able to quite figure out what it is. I've been through all the different routes. Is it because of ego? Is it because of fear? And I'm in a difficult position because I integrate different modalities. And society, again, is very keen on us picking a side and sticking to it. And there are lots of different thoughts and thought processes around belief systems with, well, if you do this, then you're considered a bit crazy. If you do this, then you're considered very mainstream. And I think, and I don't want to be associated only in that box. So I don't want to be labelled, but at the same time, I need a label in order for people to feel safe to access what I do. I thought, what if I didn't ever say I was a healer? Because it's never rolled off my tongue, or a therapist, or like none of it has really felt like mine. And I really feel now it's because life is supposed to express itself through each and every one of us. by us following the breadcrumb trail to those things that we are intrigued by, that we're curious about, that we're sparked by. And so I would say, okay, I'm really drawn to the healing arts. I'm really interested in therapeutic modalities. I am very drawn to learning and practicing therapy. I am very attracted to the role of nursing. It's not that I need to take ownership of any of them. And the way that we try to grasp them and keep them is very much the way we are taught to hoard things, hoard our money and our house and our land and I really feel like it's taking something from us that we deserve, this freedom and this ease to just, actually, there shouldn't be a pressure or an assumption that things have to be set out a certain way, or you have to earn a certain status in order to be allowed to use a certain identity. But why can't we just be more free and more at ease with, you know what, the point of me being here, the purpose for me being here, the calling for me to be here is for me to experience different things in the world that I'm drawn to experience. So I am drawn to the experience of having intimate connection. I'm drawn to the experience of this type of music, and I'm drawn to, as I say, the healing arts and wellness and helping people to be detectives about their own bodies. And wouldn't it be lovely that people didn't always insist that something that you love should become a side hustle, or you need to turn that into a business? And the amount of people who turn their hobbies into businesses and then find that it makes them feel rubbish, and it really chips away at their self-worth, because they feel like unless they can prove well enough to earn enough to show that they are good enough, they stop enjoying what they love, which I just think is such a tragedy. And if we get out of the way, things flow through us. And that's why when we're at a concert and we're listening to a song that we love, it moves us and it compels us, it captivates us, and we're feeling in the moment with it. The same as we are when we do look at a piece of art that we adore, or we're doing that art, or we're doing something in our job, or we're watching a program that we're really compelled by, anything. It doesn't have to be something that we'd consider to be virtuous. Again, sometimes we do need to lighten up and stop worrying about the rule book. Like lots of people might be drawn to loving vegan food. And do they have to label themselves vegan, or can they say, I mostly eat a plant-based diet and sometimes I'll eat this, or sometimes I'll have cheese, or, if I feel drawn to it in that moment, I might have it. And that's not to say that principles and discipline isn't really important and valuable. It's just sometimes we have rules for the sake of rules, and I think they can sometimes constrict us a little bit. So why don't we just have a little bit of quiet together? I can't believe how much it has helped me in the last week or so, and that's why it has been so quiet on here, because I thought, no, I need to put everything down, because there's so much in my head and I can't quite make sense of it. So I'm just going to take those steps back. And as soon as I did allow myself to go quiet, I felt like something inside me was being fed, something was being soothed, something was being eased. So take your hands, put them wherever you feel most drawn. Recently, I've been very drawn to putting my hand here, somewhere between the throat and the heart. And I think for me personally, this is something that needed to be soothed, as though there was this little bridge between the throat in terms of truth, in terms of talking to myself, in terms of expressing myself, saying what I need, being honest and open, especially with family and friends, about like, hands up, this is where I'm at. I am struggling with this. I am stressed by that. I definitely know that I need to listen to my inner medicine that is telling me, take it gently, come away, come away, come away. And this is heartfelt. This is coming from wisdom in my heart. And so just putting my hands there, closing my eyes, thinking I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to make this anything. This is just about self-soothing. This is just, okay, I'm here. I know it's hard. It does feel like a lot, just sometimes just labeling what's there is incredibly soothing, and it really helps your brain to create problem-solving pathways, because instead of drowning in the emotions that we're feeling, we're labeling them, noticing them, stating what they are, and the brain automatically will then start to look at, oh, okay, I need to acknowledge that, or make space for that, or make a solution for that. And that sometimes things feel much bigger than they are. We just need a minute. We don't need to change everything or make a big decision. Sometimes we just need to stop and take a minute and just, as I say, just checking in on what's there and feeling like it's okay to just label it. Feeling really overwhelmed at the moment, or I'm very, very tired, or my head is very glitchy. These are all things that I relate to. Obviously, you'll find yours. So yeah, just give yourself a minute. Let's just do it together. And breathe. Soften in your jaw, your tongue. Give yourself that moment. Let your body tell you, gosh, I could do with a stretch or moving. I just need to be seen. A nice big, deep, slow, long breath. Drop your shoulders, soften through the wrists. Sometimes I find, and I don't know if this is just a weird me thing, my hands just start moving, it's almost like they're moving energy through the body and around the body, because we exist in this space, don't we? We can feel when things are close to us, even though they're not touching the surface of the skin. Don't underestimate your presence and those things that you love and who you are and what you do. You are enough. It's enough for you to go and take part and be involved and just be in things. They don't have to be turned into other things unless there is this creative flow for it, unless there is a momentum for it, whatever it might be. So, yeah, give yourself a quiet minute. How fast is your brain running? How glitchy does it feel? What things can you label? And let your hands sweep around if they'd like to, or just let them hold. Sometimes I just sit there, say, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You're okay, you're okay, you're okay. Because it is safe. You are safe, we all are safe. But yeah, what if we're not meant to own a lot of these statuses? We're just supposed to enjoy the flow of them, the experience of them, the connection with them. We're very complex beings. Our bodies are incredible, the way they respond to tools and medicine and all sorts of input from the outside world, all sorts of stimulation can soothe and comfort and treat and heal. And conversely, tip us over, put us in overwhelm, put us in illness, put us in grief. But sometimes we just have to find our way back to that centre, that pendulum. So if you want to continue that practice, if this has got you started, I thought actually I could do with a bit longer. It would just be nice to sit and be and breathe with no pressure, with no agenda, with no sense of this is the time I'm going to get my answers and my intuition. Often it comes later once you've given yourself a chance to process and make a bit of space. So again, I'm sharing this because I don't want people to feel alone or ever to tune into videos of people who talk about wellness and think, well, we're always fine. We've got it figured out. We haven't. We haven't at all. And one of the reasons I think I'm personally good at holding a space for somebody, listening, figuring, is because I can relate, because I know how those things can feel. And these things can be extremely helpful when other people can relate to us. So I'm going to close it up for now. Send you loads of love. And yeah, if you've enjoyed that, sit for a bit longer. Give yourself a minute. Just don't even put music on. Just sit and be. No expectations, no agenda. Just sit and be. And let yourself play. Let yourself do things. Let yourself have fun. Let yourself explore. And I will see you next time. Lots of love.